What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Since Cosmo Blazer has pretty much been spoiled, I guess I'll spend, maybe a couple of days talking about some of the most interesting cards to come out of this set, in my opinion. I think that the most interesting thing around Cosmo Blazer is the fact that we're still getting Synchros. Granted, these are just OCG imports, but one really intriguing thing is the fact that, the Fire Fists are getting a Synchro and an Exceed in the same set, which is just mind-blowing. I mean, you're talking about a deck that is going to instantly hit the ground running with extra deck versatility that's easily going to rival windups. You know what I mean? When you have the option to go into a Synchro that's theme specific or an Exceed that's theme specific, and both of them, can instantly net you advantage, sign me up. Alright, so the two Synchros I want to talk about, number one being Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Horse Prince. Now, you're going to need the Fire Fist Spirit to make. I mean, unless I'm missing something, he seems to be the only tuner for this. And I mean, the guy has pretty good stats. He's a Beast Warrior, level 6, 2200 defense and 2200 attack. Yeah, I mean, the defense might come up every so often, but I like the stats. And you need a fire tuner to make it, so it's not like this is going to be the easiest thing to make. I wouldn't consider it splashable or whatever, but I like the effect. When it's synchro summon, you can special summon one level 3 fire monster from your deck. After synchro summoning this card, you cannot special summon level 5 or higher monsters for the rest of this turn. So, they do put a limit on that, because obviously, if you could just, you would synchro summon this guy, then you just, use his effect, get another spirit, and you could synchro into like a 9 or something like that. So, they obviously don't want you doing that, which would have just been a little silly. But there are no restrictions on the fact that you can still exceed. So you can pull, like a Raven or another Spirit or, a couple of other Fire Fist monsters. And again, you can exceed. You can use them to just beat your opponent down. I'm not saying that this is the greatest card, but I'm always pro a card that as soon as it hits the field, it nets you some type of advantage. And the fact that this guy, he summons another monster is just something that I like. Now, granted, it would be broken if, Spirit got his effect when special summoned, but I mean, that would just be stupid, because then you could use Spirit, you could, use the, you could summon this guy, get Spirit, summon the Spirit in your graveyard, and then exceed for a rank 3, which Fire Fists have another one, and then you can use that one's effect to grab, and it would just be like, okay, that's just retarded. Then the other synchro I want to talk about is Crimson Blader. Apparently this was released quite some time ago. This is a card that I really wish would have came out like a long time ago, because it actually has a pretty decent effect. It's called Crimson Blader. It has really good stats. It's fire. It's a warrior synchro monster. 2800 attack, 2600 defense. Again, is it me, or are Synchro's defense just, the defense of these cards are just starting to be really, really good? It's a generic, so you don't need anything special, and the effect is, if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, your opponent cannot normal summon or special summon level 5 or higher monsters during their next turn. And here's the important thing. They can't normal summon. So, your opponent can't even tribute summon. If you're playing against something like Monarchs, where, they make a lot of their bread and butter off of being able to use normal summons, your opponent can't do it. So, also this means none of those big inherent, boss monsters like BLS or Red Eyes Metal Darkness or Light Pulsar Dragon. I mean, this card is an absolute killer against Chaos Dragons. I mean, it's not as good as maybe something like a Still Sworn Roach plus Protection, but I mean, one turn is pretty much all you need. Think about this. Let's say you're playing against a deck like Chaos Dragons or Monarchs or something like that. You attack over their monster, your effect kicks in, right? Not only can they not summon anything, but I mean, the fact is, if they put anything else on the board, they could be potentially locking themselves out of yet another turn. So, your opponent has to kind of watch out what the hell they put on the board. Otherwise, it's kind of like when you have like a TG plus Horn of the Phantom Beast. You don't want to, do you want to take a direct attack, or do you want to put a monster on the field, not take a direct attack, but let your opponent draw a card? So it's kind of like a catch-22. I also like the fact that, I mean, if you get the effect off and you happen to be playing against a deck like Hieratics, I mean, is it just GG? Because what can the deck summon outside of something like, outside of Card D, what can the deck even summon? You know what I mean? So this card is actually really good. And again, you're not going to be able to synchro summon. You're not going to be able to summon those big boss monsters. You summon it against, you use its effect against something like Agents, and no Christia, no Hyperion, no BLS. So yeah. Definitely nice to see two really solid synchro cards in here. Let me know what you guys think, and I guess I'll do a couple more discussions later. Click an ad, and thank you very much.